Welcome, it's Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy bringing you another Star Citizen video. In today's video, we are going to take another look at the Aopoa Khartu-Al. Now, this thing is really cool looking, as always. I love the geometry of it, if you want to call it that. All the different crazy angles, even little hovering steps as you get in. Really cool. I'm not even sure how those steps actually work, but it's a cool little design. In the landing mode, you are always in this horizontal position, and then when you take or raise your landing gear, I should say, it will flip into a vertical position. Everything rotates around the cockpit, so it works pretty cool. Now, in my previous video when I talked about the Khartu-Al, it had a big weakness, and that was the shields. For some reason, they could not hold up against missiles. So it had an issue where I took 2 missiles, and that was it for the Khartu-Al. So we'll actually take a look at it a little bit more in combat situations and see how it performs and if the missiles are still an issue. This is on the PTU patch D for 3.10, so it's not the live server but the test server, so keep that in mind. Some things could change, some things may not. But this is 3.10.1 PTU D, I guess you could say. So it's definitely for the 3.10.1 patch. So as you can see, we are leaving Lorville here. And you can see the big old size 4 sticking out the front of this thing. Interesting that a light fighter would have size 4 guns. There is another light fighter that just came out with size 4 guns. It's not flyable yet, but it will be in December, and that is the Asperia Talon. I figured that this one and that one would be somewhat direct competitors, but according to the documentation, the Talon is a more direct competitor with the Gladius and the Vandal Blade. Again, that's something we'll have to wait and see how it matches up with them. The Talon is going to definitely be more of a hit and run ship. The Blade is that's not exactly where it's best at. It has 4 guns, you're going to be wanting to put those on target. And then the Gladius, of course, has much more firepower. It's got 3 guns, but they're better sized, and you're able to put more DPS downrange. It's got good maneuverability. To me, the Gladius is just the best all-around little light fighter. So again, we'll have to see how the Talon can compete to those. I can tell you that the Khartu-Al is more maneuverable. You're able to do a lot better strafing and, staying on target, so to speak. Are the guns that I have on this one the right ones to use? I can't really say that. I mean, I haven't played it with enough combinations. One of you have suggested to put neutrons on things like the M50, and again, that might be a really good way to go with the Khartu-Al. Neutrons are just probably the best all-around laser type weapon, but there are times that you may want to use ballistics, or maybe, just maybe, I haven't thought about it too much until just now, maybe 1 ballistic and 1 energy weapon on here. That could be interesting. If the stupid scatter guns worked better, this could be a great candidate for scatter guns. You could, get up close, pound them with scatter guns, and then get out of dodge. You're not going to want to fight with too much sustained combat in the Khartu-Al. Now, as you can see, I am taking on some Constellation Andromedas. There's actually more than one, but they're focused a little bit more on the target that I'm trying to protect. This is an ECN alert mission, and so they're kind of going after this freelancer over here until I start shooting at them, and then they'll start shooting back at me. But I've got such good maneuverability in this Khartu-Al that I'm able to just keep them at a little bit of a distance, rotate around, and keep putting continuous fire in them. It has a lot of ability to rotate on, I guess, the Z-axis, if you want to call it that, and I have been incorporating some of that in my circle strafing, and it works really well for this thing. Now, you are a bigger target in the Khartu-Al than you would be in the M50, or even really the Gladius or the Blade. The Blade's decent sized, but you have all these, little arms that spring off of your ship that make you a little bit bigger of a target. Size 4s are pretty deadly, but it still takes quite a while to take down Constellation Andromedas, even with the size 4s. You only have 2 of them, so you really got to keep your fire on the enemy ships in order to maximize that damage potential. At least with repeaters. But with pretty much any size 4s, you're going to want to obviously hit as much as possible against a bigger ship like this. Now, something that was disappointing in this whole combat situation is that they did not fire any, missiles at me for me to test if, the missiles are a problem still. As you can hear, I've got computer stuff going off, I've got phone stuff going off, all in the background. I apologize. That's just kind of part of the editing process here. So on this Connie Andromeda, I was able to shoot off several of the engines and kept it in this rotation here. You can still target sub-components in this version of the game, so you can actually target just the engines if you want. Eventually you'll be able to target any sub-components you want, life support, engines, all sorts of different stuff. So I like that you're able to do that, and the aim assist will definitely help when it comes to doing that. You're going to need it because it's really hard to actually, pinpoint things unless they're just standing still. So as you can see, this guy is pretty much dead in the water. I knocked off his engines, and now he's just going to be a pretty easy kill. I do need to keep moving because his turrets are opening fire on me, and I don't want to sustain too much in the way of those hits because, again, this is kind of a flimsy little ship. It's bigger, it's a bigger target, it's very maneuverable, but it just does not have the armor. I've got Class A military shields on it. Those will not hold up forever, so definitely I am trying to do my best to keep from getting hit from those Connies. So you get to see how effective we were against the Constellation Andromedas. Let's see how we are against the smaller ships. I think we're going to fight against Mustang Delta here and see how they compare to us. We know the M50 yesterday did really well against the Mustang Deltas, just able to obliterate them quite easily with those size 2 Badgers. We're using size 4 Rhinos on this Khartu-Al, and to me it seems like we almost take a little longer to finish off the Delta. And that might be because the M50s seem to be more maneuverable and quicker than this Khartu-Al is. So I wish I could do a direct comparison. Maybe I can set up my own little race course in the PU that will compare turning radiuses and overall speed and that sort of thing. For all these ships. That would be kind of a better test because I can just tell you what it feels like right now. And I just felt like the M50 was better against those smaller ships. Now, the M50 may have been a lot worse against the Connie Andromedas. I don't know. I haven't tested against them. Obviously, it would take longer for the Badgers to bring those shields down and to do any damage. Here, we're going against some Buccaneers, and these guys are going to be firing missiles at me. So we are finally going to test how this thing holds up against the missiles in the 3.10.1 patch that's not yet live. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not pretty. So, for some reason, one missile got through. One got through, and I can no longer fire. All my systems start going down one by one. Guns, shields, everything. It's like they were able to disable my power plant, and I'm no longer able to maintain any of those things. And now if you look, 2 of my engines are completely gone. And so I get into this spin. So again, missiles are definitely the Achilles heel to this Khartu-Al. If you are going against a Khartu-Al, make sure you fire missiles at it, because it can't handle it. It can't deal with it. Countermeasures aren't working good enough. For some reason, they broke the countermeasures again. Because before they weren't working, then they fixed them for 3.10, and now they're not working again. They weren't working in the latest live patch for 3.10 either. So something happened along the lines there to mess up the countermeasures. So what I decided to do here is I'm going to exit my ship, and I'm going to see if I can't take over one of these Buccaneers on my own when I exit, because, you can do that. You can take over enemy ships. They'll just sit there and look at you, and you pop over in and shoot them, take over their ship. A lot of fun, actually. So check this out while I am doing it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching my videos. It's really early in the morning when I'm doing this one, so I apologize if I'm more monotone. I'm still waking up. But I do appreciate everybody that has tuned in. Thank you for all the people who have subscribed, who have contributed to the Patreon and membership programs. You guys are awesome. The information is going to be below in the description of this video if you want to get involved with either one of those programs to support the channel. I really do appreciate it. If you watch the ads all the way through, that really helps. If you click on the ads, that helps. I'll get ad revenue towards the channel, and that really helps go a long ways in helping me make this my dream job. So I do appreciate any and all help you guys can give in that frontier. So thank you. It's kind of funny what happens here at the end. I'm gonna just sign off here, and you guys can watch for yourself. Pretty interesting, actually. So make sure you hit that like button if you like the video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, and hit that little bell icon to let you know when I do more of these videos. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.